I'm an illustrator in 12-step recovery. I'm doing a series of drawing based on words I found in the earliest 12-step recovery literature of Alcoholics Anonymous. The earliest writings were in the 1930s. The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous was written by Bill Wilson. And I've been looking up words that he used in a contemporary Webster's dictionary, meaning it was current at the time he was writing. The traditions, the 12 traditions, are actually something that came out in a different publication about 12 years later. However, Bill was involved in writing that. And I'm going to assume his vocabulary did not change a very great deal between 1939 and 1952. Regardless, Webster didn't do another authoritative unabridged dictionary in the 1950s, so I'm going to continue assuming this is helpful anyway. The 10th tradition says that Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues. Hence, the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. I understood most of the words in this sentence, didn't expect any surprises. I looked up the word controversy just in case it had any kind of a special meaning back then. The definition is acts of disputing or contending with. I take disputing to mean you're arguing. I take contending to mean you might be taking them to court or calling the cops or taking it to a higher level of dispute. But regardless, the definition was controversy, acts of dispute or contending. Now, when I went to the matter of how to illustrate the word controversy, I could have turned to the headlines. No matter whether you look at a 1930s newspaper or look at the one, look on a current news source for you today, there's no shortage of controversies. They are forever unfolding. However, for me, I remember some of the greatest pain of my life just coming from hearing my two parents, who, by the way, were pretty normal people and had a pretty good marriage. Nevertheless, when they got in a fight, it was very painful. They disputed different things, and you can see from this drawing, this little guy is not too happy by whatever's being said, and this is my best way of trying to render the face of someone who just wishes they would stop fighting. I'm going to assume you can relate at some level. But you can see what he's reacting to is here's Dad in the background yelling at his wife. He's bunching up his fist. Maybe nothing's going to come of that, but he's making the gesture. Here she is, getting right up in his face. She's not backing down. In fact, it looks like she's about to reach for his throat. And the back and forth looks pretty loud, and I'd say he probably agrees because he put his hands over his ears. As a counterpoint, here's a picture on the wall of a scene, a different time in a different place when the family's out in the yard building a snowman, and here's the little boy putting on one arm, and here's Dad putting on the other arm, and Mom giving him a hand, and just a picture of a very peaceful scene. And that picture's been knocked off center, and I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but there's a wallpaper pattern here that's kind of telling. The wallpaper pattern has smiles and frowns, the masks of drama, kind of showing that the family is sometimes happy, sometimes angry. There's broccoli and ice cream cones. Maybe that's what they're arguing about. She wanted to give him one food, and he wanted him to have the other. Here's another one, the cross of Christianity, the Star of David for Judaism. Maybe that's what they're arguing about, something having to do with religion. Here's the cats and dogs. Maybe they're arguing over the family pet or whether to get a family pet. Here's a chicken and the egg. Here's apples and oranges. I think this was maybe cookies and potato chips. I honestly can't remember. This is celery and carrots, or peas and carrots. And this was dolls and airplanes. Maybe they found little boy playing with dolls, and Dad you just hit the roof and said he should be playing different toys than that, and mom was saying leave him alone. And who knows, sometimes people just need to fight. It doesn't really matter what it's about. um, but yeah, that's that's, you can tell I put a lot into that. That's the act of disputing or contending. You can always find more at 12drawings.com. Thanks so much for listening.